Hey everyone, it's your buddy and pal Karnak with Serenity Wargaming and Explanations, taking a look at Mercy Mission today. I know I've been doing a lot of upgrade card videos lately, and that's just because I'm really trying to focus and get this accomplished, uh, you know, by Adepticon, and that way, uh, people who have questions coming to a World Championship, they'll have this all the videos are up there and taken care of, especially for these upgrade cards I haven't covered yet. But today, to get back on track, we're focusing on Mercy Mission. Mercy Mission is a Fleet Command upgrade card that is for the Republic only. How can you tell? If you look at the bottom left-hand corner of the card, you'll see the Fleet Command icon there. Opposite corner, you'll see the faction-specific symbol, which means it can only be equipped to a Republic ship. And its point cost is 0 points. Mercy Mission, if you look in front of its name, there's a little dot or bullet point there, signifies that this upgrade card is unique. You can only equip this to one of the ships in your fleet. Mercy Mission, as we get into, is an interesting card, and you're going to see this card probably a lot in a lot of Republic lists because of just how friendly it is. But like I do with all of these videos, is first I'm going to start just by reading through it, give a quick recap about how it works, and then progress into more like explaining in detail how the card works or any like clarifications, things of that nature, and then get into like fleet design uses, things like that. All right, let's dive right in. Before deploying fleets, unequip this card and choose one friendly small ship that is not your flagship. Equip this card to the chosen ship, even if it does not have a fleet command icon in its upgrade bar. At the end of the game, if you are within the enemy deployment zone, increase your score by 40 points. If you were destroyed, increase your fleet value by 20 points. Okay, in a nutshell, how does this card work? Essentially, you need to initially equip this card to a ship that has the ability to take a fleet command, whether it be a Venator that has the icon already, or as what most commonly you'll see, a flagship that is equipped with the flagship bridge. What's the upgrade card called? The flag bridge, flag bridge, and then they're equipping Mercy Mission to that ship. And then when you get to the deploy fleet stage, you will unequip this card, choose a small ship that isn't a flagship ship. That's so silly to say flagship ship, and apply this upgrade card to that ship, even if it doesn't have the ability to take a fleet command icon. That doesn't matter. Put it on there. Then at the end of the game, determine what the state of this ship is. Was it destroyed? Okay, if it was destroyed, it costs 20 additional points for being destroyed. So it counts for that total of the ship destroyed. So if a ship is only worth 40 points, well, it's worth now bonus 20 points, so it's actually worth 60 points. But if it wasn't destroyed, and it's not destroyed, nor is it in the deployment area of your opponent, then nobody scores anything. It's zeroed out. There's no loss, there's no gain. It's just neutral. However, if you are within an enemy's deployment zone, you score a bonus 40 points. So that's how the card works in a nutshell. Now we're going to dive into some specifics. So before deploying fleets, some people get a little confused. They're just slapping this card down on any small ship that they want, at the start of the game, or before they even reach their opponent. And again, technically, this is before deploying fleet, so this is after you've chosen objectives. This is after you've put down obstacles. When you reach this time of deploying fleets, you say, yep, I need to unequip this card and choose one friendly small ship that is my flagship. I've had some people say like, oh, I choose not to do this. I choose not to unequip it. And this upgrade card is not optional, just so folks are clear. This is a not optional upgrade. You can't choose to not do this because it doesn't say can or may. It just says unequip this card and choose one friendly small ship that is not your flagship. So you can't have a small ship. If it's your flagship, your commander's on there, you can't put this upgrade card on that small ship. It has to be specifically a small ship that isn't a flagship. Right now, the Republic only has 2 small ships, and that's the Chargers or the consular cruisers and the Peltas, the medical frigates or transport frigates. And as it says, you equip that card to that ship, and it doesn't matter if it has the fleet command icon in it or not. That is not regarded for being able to equip this card. Okay. At the end of the game, if you're within an enemy's deployment zone, increase your score by 40 points. So, to be clear, within means totally within. It can't be halfway in, it can't be partway in. Again, enemy's deployment zone is the distance 1 to 3 from their side of the table. So, if you're like halfway on the line, that's not within as defined by a game term. Within is totally within the area. So again, if you're only halfway in, doesn't count. Need to be completely within. And again, once you're destroyed, or if the ship is destroyed, its value is increased by 20 points. Otherwise, with your Mercy Mission ship, if it ends up being in the deployment zone, and you gain 40 points. So a few things about this. The scoring of the 40 points, some players have taken it to be like, oh, I can score 440 MOV, and that's what I can write down, like if you table your opponent. No. As per tournament rules, the maximum amount of points you can earn is only 400, period. So you can score more than 400. You always can score more than 400 because you always take the winner score subtracted by the loser score, and then that's the MOV. And if the MOV is greater than 400, you just round down to 400. Okay? So there's some players who were at a tournament like writing down, oh, I got 440 MOV. It's like, well, no, you 400. That's the maximum you can get. You can't get more than that. And some people, that's where it leads to one clarification. Some folks didn't know what fleet value meant, and when this card was released, nobody else did either because that term has never been used. So there was a question. It's like, for Mercy Mission, what does fleet value mean? And the answer is your fleet value is the same as your fleet point cost. So every upgrade card has a fleet point cost. That's the number in the bottom right hand corner sending ships. That's technically called a fleet point cost. So it means fleet value. It means that ship is its fleet point value plus 20 points if it's destroyed. And that's why for Mercy Mission, when it says increase your score, it just means your overall score. It's not trying to assign a specific value to that, like a fleet value or victory token or objective token value. It's just specifically, are you in there? Okay, great. You get 40 bonus points. What's another clarification? For Mercy Mission, if my fleet doesn't have any small ships, what happens? Then Mercy Mission just remains equipped to the current ship instead. So, because as it states here, you are unequipping this card, and you have to choose one friendly small ship that's not a flagship. Well, again, if you don't have any small ships, if you just bring all large or medium ships, then you're not able to fully unequip this card to equip to a different ship. So it just stays where it's at. And so you're not able to fulfill everything in the first paragraph, which is the first effect. Doesn't mean that the second paragraph, which is its own separate effect, goes away. So when it's saying you is always the ship that the upgrade card is attached to. There's another instance where somebody equipped this card to a different ship, and then they were trying to say, well, no, my original ship was where it was originally equipped, so the U applies to that ship. And I'm like, no, that's not how this works. It's the U is always the ship that this card is equipped to. Where is the card equipped? Is it this ship? Okay, then that's the ship it's talking about. So it's not saying like you, the player, or you something else. The U is clearly defined as the ship that the card is equipped to. All right. So yeah, and some folks, again, that the reason why that answer had to come about was because, again, some folks are trying to argue, well, no, the card then is just unequipped and it just vanishes into the ether, and you pretend like it never existed. And I'm like, no, that's not defined in the game rules. Point to me where it says that. So again, it's still there, and so I'm glad that we have these clarifications. Atomic Mass Games was able, when there was those discussions, they were able to get clarity on that. Here's another one that was interesting that popped up. What happens with Hyperspace Assault? So somebody says, may I choose to resolve Hyperspace Assault because they both share the same timing? Somebody says, can I do hyperspace assault first in order to, first set aside my only small ship to avoid equipping mercy mission to it? Or can I set aside the ship I equipped mercy mission on to avoid equipping mercy mission on another ship? For example, if the ship is an acclimator with flag bridge and mercy mission equipped. So again, this is effects order and timing. You get to choose the order of effects that happens, and the answer to both of these questions are yes. So if you have a small ship and you choose to do like hyperspace assault first and take that ship and set it aside first, then yeah, obviously you can't equip mercy mission to that ship. But if you do mercy mission first, you could put mercy mission on that small ship and then choose to set it aside in hyperspace. You'll often see those two used in combo a lot because it's a fast way to get a ship into your enemy's end zone, into their deployment zone, right? It's just like plop, okay, I'm automatically winning with 40 points. But again, you're also taking one of your ships out of a fight because you don't want to potentially lose it in a fight. But for like fleet building tactics, some folks will use the like the Charger version that's got all the red dice, and they'll do something like Clone Captain Zack on there. So that way it's broadsiding with these red dice. It's able to stay further away and kind of run around, and it's not having to worry about essentially being caught. For the second part here about, avoiding to equip Mercy Mission, is again, you get to choose the order those resolve in. So, you could choose to do mercy missions of unequipping to equip to something else and then put that ship into hyperspace. Or again, you can put that ship into hyperspace, which means you're not able to unequip it, put it on something else, which means that's a ship that has mercy mission. Like I said, you've seen that with either you can't put large ships in the hyperspace assault, but you can put acclimators, like as they mentioned, with flag bridge, or at least the acclimator one or the victory one, and then you can accomplish it that way. All right, so that is gone over a few of those things. Mercy mission is it's a no-brainer. It's 0 points. Like, there is very rarely any downside not to bring this upgrade card if you're not needing your fleet commands for something else or using flag, because flag bridge is 0 points as well. So if I throw a commander on here and we bring up flag bridge, so flag bridge is 0 points, and then you can throw mercy mission on there for 0 points. It's a no-brainer. It's like, yeah, there's almost no purpose not to bring this upgrade card to score points, because again, even if you don't end up actually getting the small ship in the end zone, as I like to call it, then you didn't lose anything. You're not losing any value, you didn't gain any value, but you didn't lose any value unless you totally just let that ship get destroyed. Which again, for your small ships, that's typically, especially if it's on a charger, it's going to be, you're typically going to keep it away or running away and not actually engaging in fights. If you do, you do run that risk of, yeah, it could be destroyed. And I don't really ever see it put on Peltas, because Peltas, being only speed 2, they have a really difficult time reaching the deployment zone on the opposite of the board. So it's not that they can't do it, it takes like all 6 rounds to do it, and they can't like deviate from like getting there. I think they can do it within 5 rounds if you're doing navigation shenaniganery, but otherwise it's just like you don't really going to see this put on Peltas, unless there's a situation where maybe you are needing to throw a small ship like a charger in the middle of a fight. So instead of just choosing the charger, maybe you do put it on like a support Pelta that's behind your mainline forces. So again, you're not losing value. But otherwise, this mission, Mercy mission, is just like, it's free points for Republic. And they often need it because Republic typically is a faction where you have to do sacrificial plays. You have to put pieces in places, lose a few pieces to, wipe out your opponent or take out a bigger piece. There's a little bit similar to Rebels, and that fact is that, even though they've got like big ships that can fight and squadrons that can fight, they have to really be really determined to pick and choose like what engagement they're wanting to get into to get points, and then they're using Mercy mission to make up for their losses. Because 40 points, that's like how many squadrons? It is 4 Y-wings. It's essentially paying for if you lose 4 V19s, which V19s are just like one of the best squadrons in the game, personal opinion. So it's like you can make up for some of these losses that you're going to incur when using your squadrons. So all right, that's Mercy Mission. Of course, if you've got any suggestions for maybe hey, you how you like you had to use it or fleet build with it, make some comments. Let me know what's going on with it. Otherwise, appreciate you watching. I'll catch you next time. Quick shout out to the sponsors of the channel. Firstly, to Otherworld Events. Regardless if you're needing assistance for event managing, planning, organizing, how to even start, or just need specific ideas for what it is you're doing that you already have a plan for, Otherworld Events can help you out. Second, to Admiral Tater Ship Shop. Admiral Tater Ship Shop, while specializing in Star Wars Armada miniature items, also has X-Wing and Legion items. If you're looking to really get some great looking acrylics on the table, whether it be holders for your upgrade cards or tokens or acrylic tokens, and most importantly, you just want a perfect range ruler with no flaws or errors in it that's going to give you exact measurements every time. Highly recommend Admiral Tater. It's the range rulers I use at tournaments. I know they're cut perfectly, they're going to range perfectly, and I'm going to get that best measurement every single time. Also, just look at everything they have available.